Hello everyone, welcome back to our part 17 of Lucent series जहाँ अब है हम लोग का medieval India and we have already covered our ancient India series on our previous parts. You can check that out. And today I am here with the religious movements in 15th to 16th centuries. All the parts which are already completed includes ancient India as well as medieval India. So if you want to grab more information from that parts as well, go and check that out. And today let's start with the Bhakti movement, which was one of the major movements in the medieval India. The Bhakti movement, it was based on the doctrine that the relationship between God and man is through love and worship rather than through performing any ritual or religious ceremonies. So it means that the relation they are talking about between a God and a man, it was all about love, it's all about devotion, and it is not about any such ceremonies or any sort of idol worships or anything. Now, it was in South India that for the first time, Bhakti movement it grew from a mere religious doctrine to a broad-based popular movement which was based on social and religious equality. So, Bhakti movement it was in the first time that it has started emerging, it was in South India, and it was just a small religious doctrine, but then it grew larger, and then it was led by popular saints that were called alvars. Okay, important. And these alvars, what they did, they represented the emotional side of Vaishnavism, and there were collective songs as well, such as the prabandhas. And then after the 10th century, decline started. But even after the decline, it started reviving as a philosophical and ideological movement that was by the acharyas. Now, who were these acharyas? These acharyas were the ones who represented themselves as the intellectual side of Vaishnavism, and in which time period? In the 11th century. So they represented the emotional side of Vaishnavism, alvars, and but these acharyas, they represented the intellectual side of Vaishnavism. And then among them, one of the most you can see important or one of the most renowned was Ramanuja, and whose disciple was Ramananda. And then what Ramananda did, he took it to the North India as well. From South India to North India, its evolution started. Now, what were its main features? Discarded rituals and sacrifices. Then we had emphasized purity of heart and mind, humanism and devotion. There was no ideal worship notion in this movement. You have to remember that, and that's why it was a bit different, and just love and devotion and respect mattered the most. Then was monotheistic in nature. Now there was other forms as well of God, which were Saguna, and there was formless also, that was Nirguna. Okay, remember this is important. Now this philosophies and founders as well. In philosophy, we have Vishishtadvaita, whose founder was Ramanuj Acharya. Then we have Dvaitaveda, whose Bhedavid, and his founder was Nimbarkacharya. Then we had Dvait, whose founder was Madhvacharya, and we have Shuddhaveda, whose founder was Vishnu Swami. And one more important thing, that knowledge was the constant part. Like, it was one of the most important part of this movement. And egalitarian movement it was, and it denounced casteism. There was no notion of any caste system in this movement. Everyone was treated equally, and best form of worship what it was singing bhajans and realization of God by personal methods. No ceremonies, no rituals, nothing, no social things were there. Just these were the things that how they sought as a form of worship towards the God. Then there was no need of priestly caste as well. There were no Brahmins or something. There were no priests. And then what they did, they used to preach in local languages. Now Bhakti saints, we have Ramanuja, then we have Ramananda. This Ramanuja's time period was from 1017 to 1137, and he was a saint from South India. Okay, we had already learned about him just now, that Ramanuja was from South India. Then was the earliest exponent of Bhakti movement and Vishishtadvaita philosophy. Then we have Ramananda. He was in the 14th to 15th century. He was the first great Bhakti saint of North India. So Ramanuja was from South India and Ramananda was from the North India. What he did, he opened the doors of Bhakti without any distinction of birth, caste, religion, creed or sex. Everyone was involved in that movement. Everyone was welcomed. Then we have Kabir, 1440 to 1510 AD, and he was one of the radical disciples of Ramananda. And what he did, he was also against this caste creed things. Then he didn't even like rituals, idol worships, and what he did, then he also thought of removing this distinction, this difference between Hindus and Muslims, and believe in social unity. Okay, so they believe in secularism. In the short form, we can say at that time it was not such a known word of secularism, but in another word we can say they had tolerate towards all religion. Then we had Guru Nanak. His time period was 1469 to 1538. Then we had a Nirguna Bhakti saint and a social reformer, the first Sikh Guru and founder of Sikhism. Guru Nanak, we all know. Then was Chaitanya, 1486 to 1533. He was also one of the greatest saints of Krishna Bhakti cult, and he was the founder of Gaudiya of Bengal Vaishnavism. Then we have Vidyapati, that was in 14th to 15th century. Maithili saint poet who wrote thousands of love ballads on Radha Krishna. Then we had Purandar Das, the foremost and the most prolific Vaishnav saint composer in Karnataka. He was also believed to have laid the foundation of modern phase of Carnatic music. Then we had Mirabai. She was also a princess of Maratha and daughter-in-law of Rana Sanga of Mewar. She was also well-known Bhakti saint of the Krishna cult of Vaishnavism. Then we have Vallabhacharya. She was also a great saint of the Krishna Bhakti cult who propounded the philosophy of Pushti Marg. Then we have Surdas, that was 1483 to 1563, and what he was a blind poet of Agra, and he sang the glory of Krishna in his Sursagar. Then we have Tulsidas. He was also a greatest saint poet of the Bhakti cult. Then we have Shankara Deva. He was founder of the Vaishnava devotional movement in Assam. Then we have Daudayal. He was also a Nirguna Bhakti saint. Then we have Tyagaraja. He was also a Telugu who spent his life in Tamil Nadu. He was the greatest saint composer of Karnataka music as well. Now there were also some Bhakti saints of Maharashtra Dharma. Like we have the Gyanadeva. He was the foundation head of the head of the Bhakti movement that was in Maharashtra, and he was also the foundation of the Marathi language and literature. He was also the commentarian of the Bhagavad Gita, and he called it at Bhavarat Tapika, and it was commonly known as Gyaneshwari. Then we have Namadeva. This was the time period, and he was a contemporary of Gyaneshwara. He was a tailor by caste and was opposed to all caste distinction. What was his object of devotion was Vithoba or Vitthal, Varkari sect he was founded by. And then Eknath, he was also a great scholar from Maharashtra who wrote a commentary on Ramayana called Bhavarata Ramayana. Then we have Tukaram. He was also a greatest Bhakti poet from Maharashtra known as Abhangas, and he was the glory of devotional poetry. Then we have Ramadas. He was the last great saint poet from Maharashtra, that was Dasa Bodha, and was the compilation of his writing and sermons. So these were all the Bhakti saints of Maharashtra Dharma. These were the Bhakti saints in general. These are the main features, and this was all about the Bhakti movements. In next part, we will start with the Sufi movement as well. You will be getting all such details in this written manner, so stay tuned and go through all the highlighted parts which I have given to you. Make notes out of it, frame questions, and it will help you in the competitive exams, be it any UPSC, SSC, CGL, NET or any such. This Lucent series general knowledge of the medieval India is very important for you. Go through that, and if you have any question or any query, then you can comment down in our comment box section, and we will try to help you out. So this was all set for the religious movements in 15th, 16th centuries. That was first movement, Bhakti movement. Stay tuned And do not forget to like, share, and also subscribe our channel, that is Govt Drish, and share it with your friends as well who are in need of such sources and are doing their competitive exam success ready, and it will help you out as well as them. So stay tuned, meet in our next video. Till then, take care, see you.